I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, AfterBuzzers. I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of the AfterBuzz TV White Lines After Show. My name is Rob. I will be at the helm for this episode, but I'm not alone. I have two co-captains here. I have Allie and I have Ashman. How you all doing?
Good.
So good.
Yes. And so I love this episode. Hopefully you guys do it, but we're going to get into that in just a moment. So first, let's talk about overall thoughts. What were you guys thinking about it? Allie, I'll let you go first.
Okay, yeah. Overall, I think that we're in for a really great season. I think we're already starting off with so much background information, which there's a lot going on. But I think the first episode set up the show really, really well. I'm loving our girl Zoe. The cast is fabulous. The cinematography is great. It's just gorgeous. So overall, I'm really, really excited for this show.
Okay. And what about you, Ashman?
I'm going to have to totally agree. Like, I'm so excited for all the episodes to come. Like, episode 1, I was like surprised they introduced so many different characters. And so there's a lot going on and a lot of people to follow, but I think they did such a great job just kind of in the introduction, but keeping the plot the same. Like, obviously, Axel Collins is the one that everyone wants to know about. So we see how many different people are all on this mission. And I think we're going to get a lot of revealing things about each person involved. So
Yes.
Awesome intro.
Yes, and I had a great time with it as well. And now my great time is a little bit different because there was some cheese and I was just laughing at the cheese that we were getting and some of these good soapy moments. Like, I felt like I was going to see somebody take a wine glass and slam it to the floor and walk out. Like, we really had some good soap moments in there, but also we definitely had some really dark comedic tones going on here. And I hope that this show will explore these dark comedic tones all the way to the roots of it and keep us engaged for the whole time, which I believe it, but I would like to put that, that hope out there still. So real quick, for everybody watching and those listening, there will be some spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, I would highly suggest you pause this right now and go watch it, because if not, it's going to get spoiled really bad. So let's go ahead and hop into it. We got mudslides, bodies in the deserts, dogs on cocaine, harpoon guns. I mean, yes. Fantastic, crazy stuff going on here. So let's talk about this body being found in the desert after 20 years. This is crazy to me. I've only seen this like in movies with mummies and stuff in ancient Egypt. I've never seen any mummified bodies. But what were you all thinking about it? Allie, I'll let you go first. What did you think first whenever you saw this mummified body pop up after a mudslide?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the show kicked us off with. And I quickly realized what type of show this was about to be. I was like, okay, they're really giving it to us right now. Exactly. I've never seen a body like that. And they left the camera on that body for so long. Like, we not only saw the shocking, body of this young kid who died, but we saw like the details, and it was really hard to look at. And so seeing our character Zoe kind of study this body, I felt like we were right there with her watching it, and it was a lot. And we saw her break down after it, and I don't know how else one would react to that, because that was just a lot.
Right. How would have reacted to it, Ashman?
Well, similar, when I saw the corpse there, like, naturally, I was like, is that what happens to a body after 20 years? Like, I thought everything would just completely disintegrate, but for the fact it was like kind of still in its form and its shape, but just, really, really 20 years, but it was still there, kind of in a body form. So that was interesting to me. I wasn't sure if that was like, how it actually is, or if that was Hollywood playing a role, but looking at Zoe, I thought her reaction was so interesting, because it's like, she is on this mission for her brother, right? And she sees his body. And I feel like energetically, she reacted to it. Like she ran over to it and just really felt that it was him without actually really even being able to identify anything concrete or factual about it. So I think it just goes to show how passionate Zoe is and how much love she had for her brother and their relationship, because I mean she was just attached from that point on.
Right, right. And when she saw it, it's just like something changed inside of
Mhm.
her, you know, chemically. But I want to give it a little bit more detail on the background here because this was in Almeria, Spain. This is where the body was found, and the body does belong to Alex. It's actually it's not Alex, Axel. Sorry, it does belong to Axel. Axel, who is the brother of Zoe. But what else is interesting about this whole situation is that the land that this was found on. Now, this land belongs to Andreu, and he is a big mogul in Spain. And this pops up on his land. And for me, if I was in his situation, in his shoes, and my bodyguard came to me and told me, "Hey, there's a body of an Englishman on your land." Whoa, I probably would have lost it. But I don't know. Maybe some people might have been cooler under that pressure. I have a feeling that Ashman would be a little bit cooler under that pressure. The body was found on her land. You seem like you would be cool. Like, okay, well, I didn't
I
put it
would be
there, so.
freaking out. I would be freaking out. Are you kidding me? Just the way Andrew is, right? He's like, why has this body showed up on my land? And now he's getting paranoid. Like, okay, is this a setup? Like, why is this showing up on my land and this name ringing 20 years later? So no, I don't think I would be calm. I would be on it with my head of security too, to say maybe we need to backtrack on this case because it's clearly coming up again.
Yes. And Allie, what did you think? What did you think about that when it was found on this man's land? Because now the stakes are a little bit higher for other people in the story. Previously, we were with Zoe the whole time, but we switched
Mhm.
over to Andreu, and now we're in his shoes. So what do you think, Allie?
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting because we saw a little bit of Andrew and like his whole family dynamic, and they're trying to create this whole like Las Vegas type of environment in Ibiza. And I love how Andrew just called his son right during the huge meeting and just asked him point blank, like, "Did you murder Axel?" And they didn't answer, but they did look very suspicious. So I definitely do think they know something or something's going on there. And I think the dad knew, and the fact that the body was on his land just goes us to show like how much is really going on and what we're about to find out about this family. And I don't know, it was really interesting. I didn't know what to think of it at first when the body was found there, but then when we saw more of the dynamic with the son and his behavior, I definitely think he's behind it right now.
Yes, but I'm with you with that 100%, but let's put a pin in that for now because we can address that at the end because I'm pretty sure after we reveal all this and everyone at home listens and they can pretty much be on the same page too, if they're not. So right now, let's talk about Zoe doing something super brave. Zoe just hops up, gets in a van with a stranger and decides to go to Ibiza. And that's not just all of it. Like another part of this is that once we're switching between Zoe and then her family dynamic and then also Andreu's family dynamic. And so now we have a no more drugs in Ibiza rule. And so how do you all feel about that? How do you all feel about those two? I'll let you start with it, Ashman.
Sure. I mean, I agree. Zoe was super brave. And I was actually surprised her husband let her go. Like, I get that she's on a mission, but there's a lot to be cautious of as well. And I feel like her husband, Mike, clearly seems like he's been totally supportive, like on this journey with her the entire time, because he even said it. He's like, our entire marriage has been consumed with you looking for your brother. And I guess it made sense because they have a child at home. So he's like, okay, I need to return back. But I think he looked into her eyes and trusted, like, okay, there's no way I'm going to talk her out of this. Like, she's like, I
Mhm.
need you to trust me. this is the only way that I can return back to sanity. So he's kind of like, okay. And he's nervous. Like he made that comment. He's like, get a wheelchair ready for me. Your father is going to kill me without returning back home to you. But she's a woman on a mission. I clearly, she loves her brother. They had a very, very deep relationship. And I mean, any means necessary. She's going to get to the bottom of this, and she's going to be relentless while she's doing it. So yeah, she jumped in that truck and found her way, and even found her way to Marcus. I mean, and this is just episode 1, right? Episode
Yes.
1, she's already at Marcus's house. So yeah.
Yes. And let's talk about that in just a moment, because I want to address the drugs and Ibiza thing. So Oriel, which is the son of Andreu, goes to all the big DJs of Ibiza at the clubs that they own, and tells and delivers the message, hey, no more drugs in the club until this casino deal is done. Now, for me, if I were a club promoter or DJ, number one, that in Ibiza, you got a bunch of kids coming in on holiday from all over the world, spring break, stuff like that, coming in there and doing drugs. Now, I am a man of morals, but at the same time, I am a man of business. So if I'm working in that line, where the business is people partying and having fun and telling their friends and come back, yeah, I would be worried about that. But to see how these gentlemen, the DJs and the promoters rather, took the news was a little funny. It was a little funny for me, because these guys are still going at the boss, which I would never do in 1,000 years. Well, what was going on for you, Ali, when you were witnessing all of that unfold, that whole mafioso, no more drugs in this, in the club until we get our casino?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I was first watching it, I had to go back a couple times because I was still trying to figure out like who was a part of what and why exactly, again, did they have to make that rule? And then you kind of find out, okay, it's all for this casino. It's all for this like one end goal, which I understand. But again, like you said, I think that's taking out a huge part of what Ibiza is and why people are attracted to it. Like people go to have fun. This is also how the DJs and the club promoters and everyone kind of, that's their lifestyle. That's kind of how they make money and how they do what they do. So yeah, I think the whole casino thing and that whole family attached to that business is being a little selfish. And I think that, I don't know, like I can see both sides of that for sure. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. But yeah, no drugs in Ibiza, that's a crazy thought. And that could really hurt the club business and the DJs and everything. So I don't know.
Yes, and all of my friends that I lived in Europe for a few years, and
Oh, wow.
Ibiza was like the magical fantasy island that people would make it to. I myself never been, but I've been told by numerous Europeans, I mean all over Europe, to tell me to go to Ibiza. Not for the drugs, for the party.
Yes, of course.
For the parties.
Yes.
So you mentioned you all mentioned something earlier when we were talking. You all were talking about Oriol and Conchita on the phone with Andreu about with Andreu asking, "Did you kill the British man, Axel?" and how they took that. And so, for me, the son, dead to rights, looked guilty. I mean, really guilty. But still, there's a glimmer of doubt there whether he did it, set it up, or he knew something about it. Now, the mother, on the other hand, and I love this part where he just hands the phone to the mom, and the mom takes care of everything. She entertains everybody at the same time while she's on the phone with him, with Andreu, and then just goes back into a conversation, a professional. There was that, that soapy, I'm really thirsty, now I'm going to drink wine part. It's like, okay, something is wrong here. Somebody's up to something. And you guys have already addressed it, but if you want to hit it one more time and let everybody know what you were thinking when you saw all that unfold. You can go first, Ashman. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it just shows, I think it showed the boldness of the dad. I mean, there was a huge meeting that was happening at their house and he didn't show up. And so I feel like, in his own way, he's not really he's aware of everything that's going on, but I don't know how much he's down with like the corruption of things, right? And I feel like the mom and son are kind of plotting and, casino next level, like everyone's very aware of what's going on with their businesses and just trying to get to the next level. And if that means corruption for him, it does. So I feel like with the dad, that was just a bold move. He knew what was happening at his house with the meeting, and he calls and he's just like, "Hey, did you kill him? Like, is my son a murderer?" And you could see that the son, he got totally shocked about it, because if he does know something about it, what a way to be caught off guard, right? Like all of a sudden you have to hold this poker face with all these people looking at you if you may know something about this. Whereas the mom, I mean, she just put on a complete show. Yes, she was nervous, but she just played it off like, "Oh, everything is good. I'll see you when you get back home." But I think we're going to see both the mother and son having to team up a little bit more, because the dad doesn't want to be on that side. Or I don't really know, because that's why he sent his security to say, find out, like we need to find out what happened to this kid. So yeah, I don't think he's really a part of it, but he may have an idea of his family members or people on his team possibly plotting and putting it on his land.
Hmm. Okay. And you, Allie, go ahead, Allie.
Yeah, I totally agree, Ashman, with you on all of that. I do not trust the mother or the son right now. I don't think the dad does either. And I think he's a man of just on it, like loyalty. And we saw the way he was with his dog King. And if you can show compassion for a dog, you're generally a pretty trustworthy, good person. So I like the dad so far. And again, yeah, so far I trust him. I don't so much trust the son and the mom.
Yes. You know what else I don't trust about the son and the mom? Their relationship in general. Did anybody catch that long kiss between the mom
Yes.
and
That was weird.
I've never kissed my mom like that. Never.
Yeah.
Where did they do that at?
And he like touched the lipstick after. Like
Then
what was
put
that?
it in his
Yeah,
mouth too.
he was like, "Oh, like what flavor is this?" Like what was that
Oh,
about?
God.
That was a little weird. But before we move on, I do want to talk about the dad one more time, Andreu, because he said something prior to the meeting to his son Oriel. He says, "Hey, take off your tie, roll up your sleeves, talk with these guys. These are our neighbors. These are countrymen." The dad is more of an old school stand-up guy. He's there to make the business, all the, to conduct the business. The blood part being on his hands, it doesn't seem like he is a fan of that. And Allie, going back to what you were saying about his dog King, him having compassion for an animal like that, that shows his character, tenfold, that he is this type of person, and the way he interacts with everyone. I'm a fan of the father too. But we'll put a pin in the father for right now, because we want to talk about the next subject, which is Marcus. Marcus storing cocaine. He's
Yeah.
storing the cocaine because Oriel said there are no more drugs in the club, and so the dealers, they're still going to deliver, and the couriers, they're still going to carry it to the next place. They're going to take it to the next place, and they can't hold on to it, so they give it to Marcus forcefully. And not only do they, of course, when they give this to Marcus, it's a botched plan, and some chaos ensues. But I'll let you go ahead and talk about that, Allie. Go ahead and get into what you were seeing there.
Oh my gosh. I was everywhere from laughing during this whole part to being like absolutely worried, because the cocaine, as we saw, was just falling out of this banana float, getting all over the ground. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I like Marcus. I think that we saw a really good, cute relationship back and forth with his daughters. And but oh my goodness, when he did not even think about the dogs going and like sniffing and eating it off the ground, I didn't like him for a minute. I was like, how dumb are you? Like, to not think that your dogs are going to go out there and do that. So I was a fan of him. Then I really wasn't. I was mad at him. And then I went back to liking him again when I kind of saw his relationship with Zoe. Again, I think there's a lot more to explore with his character, but he's interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Well, Allie, I must say that is a massive range of viewpoints to have on a character. How many viewpoints did you have on this character after seeing everything, Ashman?
You know, I feel like Marcus, he's associated to a lot, like anywhere from, being a father. We do see that he's responsible. Even during that meeting, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go pick up my girls," right?
Hmm.
So he is a father, he is responsible. He clearly seems very happy. I think he said he was like 44 years old. He's like,
Right.
"I'm 44 years old, a DJ in Ibiza, like the sun is shining, like I'm living a happy life." But he also has the he has the whole cocaine aspect to him. Like with that whole business and dealers, like no matter how you slice it or dice it, that business is going to get messy. Like people do not play, just like you said. Like people like the delivery is still going to go on. The receiving is still going to happen. So whoever's the responsible party there, they're going to push it on the next because nobody wants to be on the bad side of things. So I think, and then we see he's Zoe's friend. Like when Zoe came to the door, he didn't push her away. If anything, he offered her a place to stay. He's like, if you need to crash here, crash. And then we see Boxer come after him, which was a whole nother scene.
Hmm.
So I mean, I just think he has his fingers dipped in a lot of different places, and a lot of people are going to be after him because I think he knows a lot.
I agree. And since you brought up Zoe and Boxer, we'll get to Boxer in a minute. Let's
Mhm.
talk about Zoe just popping up on Marcus's doorstep. You know, once again, the bravery of Zoe. Hopped in a truck, took the truck to Ibiza, hopped out of the truck, hopped on a Vespa, went to, Marcus's place out in the country and just shows up. And for me, it sucked for me a little bit for her, I believe, because she shows up and she knows who Marcus is, but Marcus does not know, who she is. And I understand, I feel like she's kind of feel like she's been forgotten, just like her brother has been forgotten for 20 years until recently when they found him. What did you guys think after, Marcus has the whole thing with the cocaine, making like a football stadium with his little cocaine line. And then after he gets that sorted, Zoe pops up. What were you thinking? What were you thinking, Allie, when the peephole opens and Zoe's face is on the other side of
it. I was excited because at this point I kind of like Marcus and I like Zoe. So I was like, oh, they're friends. Cool. Okay. So I was excited to explore their past to see if they were maybe like romantically involved with each other or if it was just friendly. But yeah, when she was walking by, I was like, is she smart enough to maybe put the two together? She knows he's a DJ. I'm sure she's aware that he used to be a part of this business. So I was kind of like on the edge of my seat, like, oh gosh, does she know what that is? She didn't at first. And so, yeah, I was just excited to see their relationship. She was keeping it really light and friendly. And then she just kind of dropped the question, the big one, like, what do you know about my brother's death? And he
it?
just seemed a little sus there. Like he wasn't really giving her honest answers, I felt like. So I don't know. I don't think she trusts him.
Okay, and Ashman, do you trust him? You trust Marcus
Do
here?
I trust Marcus? No, I don't trust Marcus. Like I said, no. You know, I think he has his fingers dipped in too many places and that's why everyone's coming after him. So, I think Zoe is playing it super cool. Like we kind of hear her say she's like I don't trust him, but I'm going to play friendly because I believe he knows more than what he's alluding to.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's a good plan for her. I think she needs to
Yeah.
kind of be kind of cool and see who's all a part of this story before she kind of goes, pointing fingers and all that stuff because she has a lot to learn about who's really involved.
Hmm.
True.
Well, for me, I trusted him a little bit. I mean, so Marcus to me is he's harmless. He's like a goofy old dad that shouldn't have been DJing as long as he has. He's 44,
Yeah.
still DJing in clubs with 19 and 20-year-olds. And I feel that he's like harmless. So whenever she popped up, it was more of like, oh man, what is Marcus gonna do? Because he has a line of cocaine, the dogs are doing cocaine in the backyard, and now Zoe, the person who will not go away, that once she's found her brother's body, is now showing up on his doorstep. I'm thinking, how is he involved as well? But I want to talk about this real quick before we move on. There's a lot of flashbacks that connect, you know, these people together. And me myself, I'm not the biggest fan of flashbacks, but these flashbacks I didn't mind too much because number one, you need them, and number two, it adds more context to the characters that you are seeing on screen. So you get to see a little bit of young Marcus, and Marcus is still the same person as he was when he was 16 or 17 in court, as he is now at 44 with kids and a DJ. So with Marcus, guys, one last thing about Marcus. Did any of you expect Marcus to have kids in the beginning? Because for me, I didn't expect him to have any kids. I thought he was like an old bachelor. So, so when I see the kids, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. These kids, where did they come from? Okay. What do you think, Ashman?
I gotta say, I wasn't surprised. I mean, he's in the club scene. Ibiza's filled with beautiful women. Marcus had some fun in his day. So no, I wasn't surprised to see him with some kids.
Well, what's interesting about the whole thing with his kids is that his kids actually are mothered by a woman he grew up with in Manchester, and now you see her here, and she's like running a sex club. So, or I don't know what to call that. It looked like something out of the movies Eyes Wide Shut. Allie, maybe you can help me figure this one out because I'm still scratching my head like, what's happening?
I don't think I can either. There's still a lot to learn about her. And I'm really intrigued by her character and just all of their relationships together. So I think we're going to learn more next episode, I hope, because I am interested to see more about her. But I don't know what that was either. So,
Ashman, what'd you think of the surprise orgy that popped up? It was a surprise to me.
Honestly, I was like, is this a thing that goes on out there? Like, I've never been there. No, seriously. But I was like, I've never been there. I know that they're like a lot more open in their sexuality and all that stuff. So I'm like, maybe this is a thing. And she's kind of the head person that runs this. I was shocked actually by seeing the son there.
Yes.
The son, like that whole scene, I'm like, okay, look at this guy. Like on one level, he tries to present himself as this, suit and tie, like I'm really above everybody else. And next thing you know, like he's like in the sex club enjoying himself to the fullest. So that's the part that really stood out to me about him in that scene.
Yes. Well, let's talk about how we have this whole sex club thing going on at this time. And at the same time, we have Boxer showing up to interrogate Marcus. Well, it starts off as a conversation, but then it turns into an interrogation really quickly. And I love the little joke that Boxer had about the cocaine. Oh, I've always wanted to do this, plant cocaine in the garden and water and watch it grow. I was dying when I first heard that because it looked like, okay, are you trying to sow cocaine this way? And I don't think you can grow cocaine that way. I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure you can't grow it from powder. But what did you all think whenever Boxer turns from friend casually asking him questions to like crazy interrogating, like from all those cop shows or any movies where somebody's in like Vietnam captured by the enemy? I mean, he went old school and wrapped a water hose around someone's neck and like all these things. What were you thinking when you saw all of that unfold so quickly, Ashman?
I was surprised. Like when I saw Boxer show up, I was like, okay, this guy is on a mission, but I did not expect him to change his role so quickly. I thought he was going to get in there, be a little smooth about it, ask a few questions, right? But not by any means just turn as quickly as he did. And I feel like it was a part of his plot because he kind of knew exactly what weapon he was going to use. Like I get he didn't know what the proximity, how close everything would be, but he kind of offers him the beer. He throws it directly in the pool and he's like, oh, this is too hot. And when Marcus goes to get it, he just jumps on him and went to aggression on another level. I mean, I feel like he would have damn near killed him if Zoe didn't come out and kind of like save him. So
Hmm.
that just goes to show, like, Marcus, or what's his name, the security,
Boxer.
Boxer. Yeah, he is not playing. He is definitely loyal to Andreu, and he's going to shake up anybody he needs, and he's not afraid to go 0 to 100 real quick, and that's exactly what we see him do.
Okay, and I'm with you. I was surprised too. But Allie, did you foresee any of that coming? I know he's a security guard, but we see him super smooth and soft spoken prior to this. Did you see anything, any possibility of this happening?
Um, no, yeah, because he showed up being all friendly and cool, and I kind of got this vibe that they were friends a little bit. I thought if
Mhm.
anything, he would, shake him up a little bit, maybe throw a punch or something. But yeah, I think I totally agree. He was ready to take Marcus's life. And I don't think he maybe intended to, but it definitely seemed that way. But I loved what we saw from Zoe. She is not messing around. She's a badass, and she literally, what did she shoot him with again?
Yes, a harpoon gun. That's what she
Yeah,
shot him with.
that's what it was. Yeah, that was. I was so happy she was there because yeah, I did not know what was going to happen with Marcus, and I was kind of like, Zoe, hurry up, because it felt like it was going so slow, and I thought he was going to die for a minute. It was stressful, but yeah, Zoe saved the day.
Well, let's talk about Zoe saving the day. Zoe did something that I totally didn't see in her character, which
Yeah.
from from the beginning, I mean, come on, she hopped in a truck with a stranger and then she drove through the countryside on a Vespa in a country she's not from to knock on a stranger's door. And so, well, not a stranger. I mean, to her, he is a stranger. He now presently because she hadn't seen him in so many years. But then to go from that to like now you're doing gangster stuff. This is gangster stuff. You got to the count of three to pull him out of the pool, or I'm going to shoot you with this harpoon gun. Number one for me, a harpoon. I mean, yes, it was the only weapon available in there, but who uses a harpoon gun that's not in the water? Like, once again, this is like something that I don't know. I would see in like a comedy movie. Someone gonna shoot you with a harpoon gun, but then she actually does. So, what was going on for you when that happened, Ashton? What was going on when you saw her? Well, it's implied they cut from that, but what was going on in your head whenever you saw Allie, not Allie, excuse me, Zoe show up with the harpoon gun?
I was like, Zoe has aim.
Yes.
I mean, I personally, I wouldn't even have thought of that, right? Like, she kind of looks around, there's a knife and a few other things, and she went for, I mean, if you think about it, like, it's almost kind of thought out. She went for the weapon that she can be at a distance with and still hit her target, right? Like a knife, it requires you to be a little bit more like up close and personal, and there could be a fight. But she's obviously confident in her skills. And I agree with you, Allie. Like, she's not playing. She was like, the funny thing is, she's like, I'm not done with Marcus yet, so you better let him
Yes.
live. She's
Right.
like, I have a few
Right.
more questions. And I think we really see on her character that she's gonna go to anyone she needs to and do what she needs to get the answers that she's looking for. And she's not afraid.
Yes. And Allie, since you already covered it, I won't have you beat a dead horse or shoot it again with a harpoon gun. But the final thing I want to get you all thoughts on is the last scene or the last shot pretty much for the show, which is Boxer, Zoe, and Marcus walking out of the hospital together like friends. And you see Boxer walking with the limp with the bandage around his leg, and these guys are just walking out. And for me, honestly, I laughed my ass off because at that point I was like, okay, this show is gonna get dark and sillier, and I'm loving it because you have three people who are not friends who now are friends walking out of walking out of the hospital with no police involved, by the way, which that's another thing. You shot a man with a harpoon gun, and now all of you are walking out together as friends with no police. What were you thinking when that happened, Allie?
Um, Same. I love how this show can just be funny, even though it's so dark and so like I don't know, it's just so serious, but yet it makes us just kind of like, what, like laugh a little bit. I think, I'm hoping next episode we kind of see a different dynamic with them. Like maybe they are friends somewhere, or maybe Zoe does even know Boxer. She spent some time there. We don't know a lot about what went down, but we're learning a little bit. So, but yeah, the fact that they all walked out together, I don't know, that was wild. That didn't really make sense. So
Yes, but Ashman, how are you feeling about the new three amigos leaving the hospital?
I thought it was funny because all three of them look worn out to me. Like they just all came out of the same war zone together, right? They were all after each other. So it was funny, and it was interesting to see what's going to kind of happen from this dynamic now. We have two people looking for more details on Zoe's brother, and we have Marcus, kind of the floater in the middle, and he has all this cocaine on his hands. So it's like, I think just seeing them all come together and get ready to walk out together kind of shows that we're going to see a lot more of these three in episodes to come, whether they're rivals against each other or they join forces. But I think we got some of our lead characters in this episode.
Yes, and I love the moment once again because it's one of those crazy, dark, comedic moments, along with the dogs doing cocaine. And I don't know if any of you caught this. I did, and if any of you at home listening caught this, with the little poodle dancing in the background.
Yes.
He was like dancing in circles in the background after it did cocaine. And just
like, at least he's having fun. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I was so worried. They didn't tell us what happened, but I'm assuming that they're fine.
Oh yeah, they're fine. They just did lesson learned. We know that a little cocaine apparently doesn't hurt anybody, even dogs. Yeah. I wouldn't say try it. I'd say drugs are bad, okay? But let's get into our special segment. Allie, you're gonna go ahead and take that away for us?
Oh, Ashman, you got special segment?
Ashman, you have
I'll do some news later.
Sorry about
worries. That. Guys, so for special segment, I have some fun facts, and I thought we should learn a little bit more about Ibiza itself, since this is exactly where the show is taking place. So 4 different things. One, Ibiza is located on the Balearic Islands in Spain. So very often when people refer to Ibiza, they're like, oh, it's in Spain. But actually it's a cluster of islands where Ibiza itself is located. Second thing is the correct pronunciation of the island's name is actually Ibiza. So we're used to saying it as Ibiza, but in how they pronounce it over there, it's Ibiza with an E.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Ibiza. And I think they said that. I heard them pronounce it differently, and I remember thinking, wow, have we been all saying that wrong? So
totally. So I'm like, something for us and our fans watching, right? We're always going to bring content that we could all learn from, and now we know the correct pronunciation of this place. Also, there are 57 different beaches in Ibiza, just on that island within itself. 57 different beaches. Wow. And my sources on all this is actually different travel sites that recommend for travelers and tourists and so forth. And lastly, Ibiza attracts 6 million tourists per year. So you can only imagine why the club scene and the party scene is such a big place, because it's literally what people go there for. So whether it's, the weather, the beaches, but the partying and the cocaine, it all seems to go hand in hand with the Ibiza party and nightlife way. So that's what I have for you guys.
Wow.
Ashman, how many islands did you say there were in that cluster? Not
island. I had 57 different beaches.
57 different beaches. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I wasted my time in Europe 3 years and I didn't go to not one of the 57 beaches. I had 3 years to do this. I'm so embarrassed.
You can always go back.
Yes. Now that the casino's
I'll go with you.
I can go back.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for your special special segment, Ashman. If Allie's ready to do the news, I'll go ahead and let her do her thing.
Yeah, I have a little bit of fun facts as well. So I was going to talk about our girl Zoe, who is played by Laura Haddock, which you guys may recognize her from Transformers, and she was also in Guardians of the Galaxy. She was also married to Sam Claflin, which I love him. But they have 2 kids together, but they are now divorced. But how she actually came to find her role of Zoe in the White Lines, I thought was really cool. So after watching Money Heist and loving it, apparently she decided she really wanted to work with Alex Pina, I think, is the creator of White Lines as well as Money Heist. And so as soon as she saw Money Heist, she was obsessed and telling all of her friends, like, oh, I really want to work with him. That would just be amazing. And then about like 4 days later, she said she got the script for White Lines in the mail. So she was joking like, oh my gosh, the universe like totally heard me, which I thought was so cool. And I'm all into that like law of attraction stuff, like put it out there, vision boards, all of that. So yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
any of that. Honestly, I don't remember her from Guardians of the Galaxy. I'd have to go back and revisit it and see, try to
Yes.
see if I could find her. But
She played Chris Pratt's mom that passed.
oh,
So she was in like a few scenes, but yeah.
oh,
I know I had to go
okay.
back to.
Wow. I learned something new every day. And with you too, I just learned a couple new things. I never heard of this actress beforehand. And thank you for sharing that. And on behalf of the people at home, I'll thank you for sharing that, because I'm pretty sure not all of you at home knew this. Well, some of you might have, but whatever. Um, so one more thing I want to get into before we go is the predictions for next week, or the next episode. I'll let you start off with this,
And
Alex.
now,
Oh my goodness.
your AfterBuzz
Um,
TV.
Okay, so I think we're definitely going to see more of Zoe and Marcus. I think we're going to learn more about their past. I do think they had a little bit of a romance going on 20 years prior. So I think there's going to be a lot of maybe, I mean, I know Zoe's married, but I could see some stuff going on there. Maybe they just become friends, but I'm interested to see their dynamic a little bit. And I think we're going to learn a little bit more about who's involved and who's behind Axel's death, and finally at least get an idea of like, okay, who are really the bad guys, who are the good guys, because we think we know, but we're still a little iffy on everything. So yeah, I hope next episode we see a little bit more of a like
Okay.
get a little more answers.
Okay, I'm all for answers. I'm all for answers. What about you, Ashman? What do you think is going to happen here in the next upcoming episodes?
Sure. Yeah. We're going to get deeper into this conquest about what really happened to Zoe's brother, Axel Collins. I think we might get more results about the body. I don't know, maybe some DNA results, but I think we're going to get a little bit closer into actually saying if we can identify this is Axel Collins or not. I think we're also going to learn a lot more about the family dynamic with Andreu, his wife, the son, like that phone call he made to them. That's not going to be the end of it. I think we're going to see and hear a lot more conversation about, you know, what Andreu is alluding to, and all that stuff. And Zoe's going to continue staying on her mission. And Boxer is going to keep finding other people involved and keep reporting back as a good head of security, and do his best to give Andreu what he needs to know also. And I also just want to say, for our 5 people that have been in our live chat, they've been with us, watching us the entire show, and I highly encourage them to write in our live chat. I'm right here. I'll get your responses. You could discuss it with us. So feel free to leave your predictions for the next episode, and we can talk about that a little bit more too.
Yes, live chat. I have a saying. It goes, don't spectate, participate. Don't just
Love
stand
it.
there and
Love
watch.
that.
Give us some tea. Give us some
Yeah.
complaints. Give us some praise for what you liked on the show. You guys make this show run continuously, and we thank you for it. But my prediction, real quick, I think we're going to see a little bit more from the Romanians. I mean, because they're 2 huge, buff, like menacing characters. I'm pretty sure they're going to come back. There's no way that you see these guys in the cool, like happy-go-lucky way they are throwing the cocaine off the boat. We're going to see some.
I forgot about them. You're
Yeah,
right.
I can't forget about them because it just stuck out too much to me. I'm like, okay, these are some big, buff, rough-looking guys, and then they're
True.
on the boat throwing cocaine over and dancing. Like, okay, I'm pretty sure we're going to see some bad stuff from them. Also, I think we're going to see some even crazier stuff from Zoe. Zoe proved that she's got some serious guts, and you don't mess with her family. So we see that, and I think I think another thing. I think we're going to explore that in further episodes too. Just the power of family and what it means, to have family on your side and to have your family's back. But we're out of time, and I want to thank everybody who watched and or listened. I want to thank Allie and Ashman for joining me here and giving me some crazy, cool stuff to know and learn and to actually research even more because I didn't know any of this stuff. In the meantime, where can we find you guys at? I'll let you go ahead, Ashman.
Sure, you could find me on Instagram at Insights by Ish.
Okay, and you, Allie?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Alexandra James.
Yes, and once again, my name is Rob, and you can find me on Instagram at Rob Stilo. That's ROBSTEELO. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Once again, we will be back at this later on today at 6 p.m., right, guys? No, 8 p.m. Sorry about that. So 8 p.m., you guys can come back and check us out again. And if you're in the live chat, remember, participate, don't spectate. All right. You guys have a good one. Thank you for tuning in once again.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.